roasting Matilda and stretches 14 metres long. Now on the very left hand side of the oven, you may be able to see this in action shortly, but our peanut bags get strung up by these big yellow claws and then are moved to be on top of our tube. So from there we untie the bottom of the bag, the peanuts flow down into the tubes, and then they're suctioned and are placed on the conveyor belts inside. Now those red arrows you see on the outside is where we do our roasting. The peanuts are roasted for half an hour at 150 degrees. Then they move on to those blue arrows, which are our cooling systems. So the peanuts are cooled for half an hour as well. So they spend about an hour within our oven, and then at the very end of it, our peanuts get spit out into this big metal tray. Now that tray shakes and it vibrates. It allows for any leftover peanut skin or majority of the time peanut dust to be removed from the product, as we don't want that stuck in your teeth as you are eating our peanut butter. But once the peanuts are all roasted, they head onto our hopper and grinder room. Now that is your room, it's all the way to your right. You can see there's a bunch of stacks going along a middle strip of the wall there. So once again, peanuts suction into our hoppers, that's where we store our peanuts, and then they fall with gravity down into our grinders. Now, with the grinders, there's only one little difference between making crunchy and smooth. So when we make crunchy, the peanuts get grounded once, and for smooth, they get grinded twice. So that is the only difference there. Now that second grinder that the crunchy pieces go through, it ensures they get really squished up to make a really silky soft texture. But once the textures are perfect, they are ready to be jarred, which is what's happening below us here. So I'm going to explain to you what the jarring process is. So we have line number 1. It is the furthest away from us, so closest to the oven. We have line number 2 in the middle, and then line number 3 that is closest to us here. Now you can see line number 1 is on today. We are making crunchy for New Zealand. Now how that starts is at the very start of the line, so on your right hand side, our jars get filled 4 at a time. So it can be a little bit tricky to see, so when you do have a wee wander shortly, make sure to have a wee look from different angles. But once those jars are filled, they move on to what almost looks like a big black and silver funnel. That is where their famous star lids are put on, and directly after that is a big metal box where the hand seal replacement. And then after that, we actually have somebody who is inspecting our jars. They're making sure that they're up to a very high quality, so ensuring that there's no peanut butter on the outside of them, that the lids are really nice and perfect and not scratched. So after that, if they're all perfect, they move on to where they are automatically labelled, and then they're hand packed into boxes and hand stacked into pallets at the end. Now these pallets, they get stacked 7 boxes high. They contain 1,400 jars, and a pallet takes half an hour to create. So now we've jumped to line number 3, that is the one closest to us, and it is very different. Line number 3 is a manual line. That is where we create all of our other sizes. So that includes our beta jars, our 195 grams. Today they are making our 1 kg plastic recyclable jars. We also do 2.3 and 5 kg plastic. But how that works down here is, depending on what size jar we are filling, is how long the valve will open for. And that valve opens just with a tap of the foot pedal. So you pop an empty one over there, tap the foot pedal, and the perfect amount will come out to fill this jar. Also, these peanut butter makers, they only have 1 shift, Monday to Friday. It is 6 a.m. till 3. They all deserve a weekend, such as we do. But what's interesting about this is their roles get swapped around every half an hour. So every 30 minutes they're doing a new job. It saves them from getting very bored of what they're doing, but also enables them to understand the whole behind the scenes processes of things that need to occur to be able to produce our delicious tasting peanut butter. So that's pretty much the factory side. I'm just going to run over a few key facts to do with the type of peanuts we use. So we use peanuts called high oleic. Now they're very good for you. They contain 80% of monounsaturated fats. Those are the healthy fats that actually help lower your cholesterol, and it's also very great for your heart health as well. And what's interesting is that these peanuts are actually considered legumes because they grow underground, meaning if you're eating 6 peanut butter, you're actually getting one of your 5+ a day fruit and veggies in, which is pretty awesome. And then lastly, the peanut bags we get and where they come from. 80% of our peanuts come from a town called Kingaroy. It is 2.5 hours inland of Brisbane, Australia. The other 20% comes from Sao Paulo in Brazil. So what I'm going to do for you guys now, there's quite a few things to look at and do. So you can have a look at the very end of the oven if you want. Now I know since it's Friday they've already wrapped up. You may not see the peanuts coming out, but it's a pretty cool machine to look at. You can have a wee read of the hopper and grind all of those stacks. They're very funny, very interesting. Now these texture poster boards down here give a really good detailed insight into Click's life for the business. What is happening behind this wall here is what we call Factory 2. It's where we make things that aren't solely peanut butter. So today they are roasting our almonds, getting ready to make our almond butter next week. Now I know that a few of you kids really want to hop onto this, so I have a few rules, so let me put you through them first. So, number 1, before you hop on, we ask you to put a spray of hand sanitizer onto your hands just to help with the germs. Now 2, you have to make sure there is a bowl underneath to catch your peanut butter. That seat there is adjustable. If anyone wants to move it up or down, you're more than welcome to. And with your bowls and your sticks, so you use a stick as a spoon, they need to be placed in this bin here as we actually get to composting. Okay? Awesome. So if you want to hop on, you're more than welcome to. If you want to have a browse around, I'll still be here for anyone that has any questions. Who's going to hop on first? Awesome. So, maybe you just throw your hands.
Yay! Exercise!
Hop on, and all you're going to do is pedal left to right. Can you reach the pedals? Yeah, awesome.
That's cool!
I was going to say, the peanuts that are left in this here is all I have this week, so I've got to make sure that you're not making too much because everybody needs to have a go once a day.
I have a question.
What's your question?
Dad truck would bring on Of course.
They do. It's a very big truck.
Has to be.
Yeah, and that's where we put our pallets on if we're sitting in anywhere in New Zealand.